we are going to start a new chapter of our syllabus. As I have told you in my last class that we have completed successfully the second chapter of the first unit, that is non-profit making concern, and first unit of our syllabus is completed, and I hope you don't have any doubt regarding those, because the students, those who have doubt, they have contacted me even by the phone and text messages, and I replied to them, and also they are now ready for the new chapter. And those who have still doubts regarding the earlier parts, they can ask me now also. It is not a big deal, but since the time is less and the syllabus is more, we have to move further. Okay, so today we are going to start the chapter of second unit. Okay, you can call it as the second chapter or first chapter of the second unit, because the books remains changes, but this chapter definitely comes under the second unit. Okay, so amendments are always going on, so this time I don't know what is the amendment in the syllabus is made. I am not quite informed about it. Sorry. So this time we are going to start the chapter, you can call it as the second chapter of the second unit. Okay, so unit 2, second chapter. I have not mentioned over here, and write it just now. The chapter name is depreciation. Okay, so this is unit 2. And chapter 2. Better I could write it in the Roman number. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the second unit, second chapter, that is called as depreciation. This term is not new to you, because you have studied about it, or you know the term because you have solved the journal entry regarding depreciation in your first year while we were studying journalization of the transactions. Okay, so what is depreciation? Depreciation is the decrease in the value of an asset that you call it before, but now we can say that decrease in the value of an fixed asset. To be more precise, it is fixed asset. As you know, we have also made the calculations regarding depreciation in our final accounts, with adjustment, also without adjustment. The treatment of depreciation in the first one, that is without adjustment, was single treatment, and the treatment of depreciation in the adjustment part of the final account was having two adjustments. Regarding the fixed asset, as you know, it was deducted from the respective fixed asset in the asset side of balance sheet under the head fixed asset. If you make proper precise form or presentation of the balance sheet by proper categorization of the assets. If you go for the categorization of the assets, depreciation is charged on the fixed asset of the business concern. Okay, so what is depreciation? It is reduction or decrease in the value of an fixed asset due to use and passage of time. What did I say? Decrease in the value of an fixed asset. As you know how, because we were calculating this in the final account part. So the definition goes here is it is the reduction or decrease in the value of an fixed asset due to use and passage of time. Okay, so these are the two things, or the two factors, or the two most important points for which the depreciation takes place regarding the fixed asset. Okay, so first of all, going to the introduction part, I would like to tell you that depreciation is a term that has been derived from a Latin word depretium. Okay, so it has been derived from a Latin word, that is depretium. Okay, so there are lot of words that we find in our daily vocabs that they have been derived from some Latin words or other languages, German word also you can say. They have been derived from different words, because we don't know all other English languages, because we always follow the UK English. So this is the term that has been derived from the Latin word, that is depretium. As you can see, the spelling as goes is here, the depretium. And again, if you want to understand the meaning of this depretium, I would like to split this word into two parts, so it will be very easy to understand what this word means. Okay, so see, you know the meaning of depreciation, and you know it has been derived from the word Latin word, that is depretium. So how can we make a match? We can make a match between these two words, that these two are same. For that purpose, I am splitting this word into two types, okay, or into ways. So it goes here like this. It has been split into two ways, that is D and Pretium. Okay, so the term D means decline. D means decline. Okay, and Pretium means price. Okay, so the term Pretium is splitted into two ways, that is D and Pretium. So D means decline. Okay, decline means you can say decrease, or you can say reduce, reduction, whatever the terms you know. Okay, or you can say diminish also. These are the similar terms that you can know. Okay, synonymous words for the same. So D means decline or decrease or reduce or diminish. The things are all over same. And the term Pretium means price. Price or cost, you can say. The other synonymous words for the price: cost, value. Okay. So these are the synonymous words for these two terms. So D means decline, Pretium means price. So moreover, if you say depretium means decrease in price, or if you go with the exact word, decline in price. These are the synonymous words that I have written over here for your better understanding. Okay, so if you go for the meaning of depretium means decline in price. D means decline, pretium means price. Okay, now coming to our main word that we have discussed, the name of the chapter, that is depreciation. So what is depreciation? Again, I am recalling it to you just to tell you those vital factors. What those vital factors were? Just listen the meaning. The meaning is decrease or reduction in the value of a fixed asset due to use and passage of time. Got it? So what are those two important or vital factors that leads to depreciation? Those two important factors are, just now I said in the meaning, use and passage of time. So okay, so I am writing it over here. Factors for depreciation. Okay, first one is use, second is passage of time. Okay, this is what the term depreciation means. Okay, so as you know, if there is a value asset of worth 50,000 and it has asked you to reduce the asset by 10%, so the reduction value comes as 5,000. That is 10% of 50,000 is 5,000. Now the question is, why we should charge depreciation? Okay, why we should charge depreciation? For example, there are various common examples if you take in your daily life. So I am going to do that this as well. So take an example that in the year 2012 you purchased a motor car. You purchased a motor car for 4,20,000 rupees. Okay, for 4,20,000 rupees. You have used it, you have taken the benefit. Please listen the words carefully. I have told you benefit. The benefit, utility, precious, price, decline. These are the key words that define a particular term existing in this chapter, because there are other important terms or synonymous terms related to depreciation. So please carefully listen the words or the terms that I am telling you. Okay. So on the year 2012 you purchased a motor car for 4,20,000. Now you have used it for almost 5 years. How much? 5 years. Now you want to sell it on 2017. Okay. You want to sell it on 2017. Okay. 5 years you have used. So in these 5 years, you have taken the benefit from the asset, you have used the asset. It may be possible also if you have used your motor car other than your personal use for business purpose, like the cabs businesses are going on in the metro cities. So definitely you must have earned some income, earned some remunerations also. So the thing is, in these 5 years, you have taken the benefit, you have taken the utility, you have used, and the passage of time is the 5 years. First of all, see the two important factors, use and passage of time. Use is invisible and also passage of time also as well. Okay, clear? So use and passage of time. What is the passage of time? Time factor is 5 years. For what purpose you have taken the car for 5 years? You have used it. You have used it and the time taken for your use is 5 years. The duration of your use is 5 years if I say more precisely. Then in these 5 years you have taken the benefit, you have taken the utility, or in some cases if I talk you have taken the service, you have provided the service in order to get some income in the way of cab services or different type of services that you can have, or you can make it you can give this motor car for tender purposes for the other services from the banks or the insurance companies or any sort of specific companies that are operating in the society. Okay, there are different things. So the tender is out and you apply for the tender and you lend your car to them and they give you some charges for monthly or yearly. That depends the contract that is made between you and them. And the service charges and the other type of charges and the driver that they give is borne by them only. You just get the benefit out of it. So if I would say in these 5 years you have taken a lot of benefit, utility, service and also some income. And see, if after 5 years you want to sell it, okay, you want to sell it, for what cost will you sell? For what cost will you sell it? Will you sell it for 4,20,000? It's a big no. You won't sell it for 4,20,000. Okay, it's obviously a big no because you have purchased for 4,20,000 and you have used it for 5 years. You have taken the benefit, you have taken the service, you have taken the utility of more than 100%. If I say, okay, because that cannot be measured. Just I am telling on an assumption. So after that, if you will sell you sell it at 4,20,000? Definitely, you will reduce the price. Otherwise, the buyer who appears in front of you for the purpose of the proposal of purchasing the motor car that you want to sell it again, not again, you want to sell it after you use, he won't buy. If you sell the thing for this rate, why could he not bring it from the market itself? Okay, yes or no? That means you have to reduce it for some percentage. Now, what is that percentage? That all are the assumptions. Even in case of business organizations, even in case of non-profit making concerns, and also in our daily life, because we don't have any particular yardstick to measure the rate of depreciation or to measure the value of depreciation that we have taken in the basis of utility or services from the particular fixed asset over a particular period of time or a stipulated period of time. So it is difficult to measure. So therefore, these are done on an assumptions. And in case of the business organizations and the non-profit making concern, if you say, there are various experts, professionals, research workers, research personals. They use their experience and they can say that depending upon this type of duration or depending upon this volume of use, you can reduce it for a particular percentage, that may be 5%, 10%, 15% or 20%. Even the method that you can use also differ, that we will talk about it in the other classes, but not now. Okay, so the thing is, if you want to sell after 5 years of use or 5 years of benefit that you have taken, you will definitely sell for lower price because your buyer won't buy from you at the initial price. This is very clear. If you don't go with the concept or fundamentals of the bookies also, so you can know that you have to sell the asset after you use for a particular while of time. If you take this as 1 year also, you have to reduce the value of the asset. Okay. So let us take an example that we wish to sell it for 2,80,000. Okay. Now, see, it is also an assumption figure. You can take it at 3 lakh, you can take it at 4, you can take it at 3.8, or you can take it at 1.8, depends upon you. Okay, so this is what the assumption figure I have taken, that I will sell after 5 years my motor car at 2,80,000. Now the thing is, in our daily life, we just make a assumption that at what price I should sell, how much benefit I have taken, how much service I have taken, or how much service in case of business I have given to the customers, how much income I have earned from this asset, or it is for my personal use. See, if you use the fixed asset for your personal use, so definitely the utility or the benefit got by you will be less. And if you use it for a professional or a business purpose, definitely you will get more benefit also in terms of some money. So the utility derived in case of personal use is less and not monetary. But the benefit or utility derived from such fixed asset upon business use is monetary and also more, okay, compared to the personal use. So depending upon this type of 2 to 3 assumptions, personal use, professional use, business use, volume of use, or more use, less use, more servicing, less servicing, quality of product, okay, so these are the all factors or the important things or important point that you must keep in mind for making an assumption regarding the price at which you should sell at second hand to a particular buyer. If you don't go for these assumptions, definitely it will be very difficult for a layman also to calculate the price at what he should sell to the buyer. Okay, and don't any customer won't also wish to buy from you if you don't make a proper assumption, or you won't sell it at a proper price because you are selling it on a second hand. It is not first hand. Okay, I think you know it very well. Another thing is, see, this type of assumptions are made in our daily life. As I told you, business use or professional use or personal use or the benefit that I have taken. These are the invisible calculations that you make in your mind or the assumptions that you make in your mind. But in business, all these things don't go on the personal judgment. As you know, the biggest disadvantage of financial accounting is personal judgment or personal biasness. Okay, so we don't go on this personal biasness. The thing is, as I have told you, in the business concerns and also in the service making or non-profit making concerns, there are usually the various professionals or experts who, on their past experience and efforts, they calculate a value or they forecast a value that, or they predict a value that at this price depreciation should be charged to this fixed asset, or at such percentage the depreciation should be charged to the fixed asset. We need a good experience and good past effort from which we gain our experience for the proper calculation, that may be assumption for proper calculation of a percentage or the value of a depreciation to be charged on a fixed asset. Because in business, all the fixed assets are definitely used for the business purposes, for the business activities, just for getting revenue over it. And if you are earning revenue, you are taking the more benefit as compared to the personal use. Okay, so definitely the rate of depreciation or the value of depreciation to be charged on those fixed assets will be quite less as compared to the personal use. Okay, and if I talk about the assumptions that are taken by a layman or the assumptions that are taken by we people in our daily life differ from the assumptions or the predictions or the calculations or the research or the percentage calculated by those persons who are working as the expert or professionals in the business or service or any non-profit making concern. So it differs. Okay, so the calculation or the assumptions that we make and the calculation or the assumptions that they make differ a lot. Okay. If we do a business use, definitely our assumptions will be different and their assumptions will be different. So from this discussion, what we came to know is, in order to calculate the value of depreciation to be charged to a fixed asset, or if you want to take a percentage, a fixed percentage, 5, 10, 15, to be charged depreciation on a fixed asset, for that purpose you have to properly analyze that is your asset is used more in your point of view, or your asset is used less, depending upon your business activities. Okay, again I am taking an example to make you clear. For example, first of all, my business sales turnover is 2 lakh. My business sales turnover is 2 lakh, and I am selling on daily basis almost 2000 units. Now we don't need to calculate the price of the product by dividing these two factors. I am just telling you, my business turnover is 2 lakh, and I am selling almost 2000 units daily. But 2 lakh is not the daily turnover, it is the monthly turnover. Sorry. Okay, for example, I am selling 2000 units or I am producing 2000 units per day. I saw that if I produce more units, I would sell more units. That means there is a demand for my product in the market, so I need to produce more products in order to prevent the scarcity of goods in the market, or in order to prevent the competitors enter in the market for the same thing. Okay, so this is what the strategy even a layman do, and the business professionals always go for a good strategy. So please listen it carefully. Okay, so I used to produce 2000 units a day and I make a turnover of 2 lakh per month. Now the thing is, sorry. Now the thing is, there is a huge demand for my product in the market. So I won't allow a competitor to enter in the market for the same thing, because I don't have a competitor right now in the market. And I don't think that, and I don't allow to have a artificial scarcity of the product in the market. Okay. So the thing is, I would like to produce more, and I don't have a fresh machinery with me now, right now. Okay. So what should I do? I will make it overtime use. I will go for hiring some extra shift of the workers. If I am using it for 18 hours, I will try for using it for 24 hours, even in the night. So now tell me, it is possible that I can produce more units. In case of 2000 units, I will produce 2500 units or 2800 units. Okay. If I use overtime. But the thing is, if I use overtime, no doubt I will earn more revenue. But I have to hire more workers, so I have to pay to them also. That is a different expense if you take it as a different direct or indirect expense. Another thing is, if you make overuse of your asset, definitely your asset will get reduced in its quality. It will start deteriorating. It will start going into wastages. In that case, if you are increasing the volume of your business activities regarding the use of the machineries for earning more revenue or income, so in that case you have to charge more depreciation that you think or that you assume. So these are the small key factors that we keep in mind for calculating the value of the determining the rate of depreciation. Okay, in the business or the service or in the non-profit making concerns. Now the thing is, if we sell it for a 2,80,000, in business what is important? Either I have sold it for profit or loss. So that depends upon the rate of depreciation that you have charged and the price you have sold, and at this date, what is the value of your asset less depreciation. Got it? For example, you are charging depreciation 10% and this is 4,20,000. Let us take it round figure. Okay. Let us take it round figure. 4 lakh. And let me take this also round figure. Okay. So see, I have used my asset I have purchased my motor car for 4 lakh. I have used it for 5 years and I have sold it for 2 lakh. Now see, for example, you are using a rate of depreciation, if you say, for example, 10%. The rate of depreciation is 10%. How many years you have used? 5 years. Let us see, in this case, we are having profit or loss. In general life, we cannot calculate profit or loss exactly because that are based on the personal biasness and human assumptions. Those assumptions are not professional, not business oriented. Okay, so these are layman examples, or you can say that these are simply assumptions that we make in our daily life. But as compared to the business personals or the experts that they assume or the assumptions that they make, obviously differ. They will differ. So now, after their predictions and their past experience and their efforts, they have taken a value or a rate of depreciation that is 10%. So we have purchased a motor car, or if you more precisely take it as a machinery, because motor car is not a business use. Okay. For example, we have purchased a machinery for 4 lakh rupees and the business used to charge depreciation for 10% and it sells after 5 years for 2 lakh. So please pay attention to it. You have to charge depreciation at the rate of 10% on 4 lakh. So what is 10% of 4 lakh? 40,000. Got it? What is 10% of 4 lakh? 40,000. Now, for how many years you have used? For 5 years. Okay. So depreciation for 5 years is 40,000 into 5. So how much you got? 2 lakh. And for what price you have sold? 2 lakh. So you can say there is no profit or no loss. You can say or not. Or for your better understanding, I am taking it as 1,80,000. Okay, I am taking it as 1,80,000. Now see, the rate of depreciation charged for the machinery used in the business is 10%. And the cost of machinery for which it is acquired is 4 lakh. So the rate of depreciation for a year is 10% of 4 lakh. That is 40,000. I have used it for 5 years. So how much is the total depreciation over these 5 years of use? Is 2 lakh. And I have sold the asset for 1,80,000. That means value of asset less depreciation after 5 years is 2 lakh. And I have sold it for 1,80,000. So am I having profit or loss? Definitely I am having a loss. of 20,000. Got it? I am having a loss of 20,000. Now forget this 4 lakh. The asset is depreciated for 5 years, and after depreciating, the depreciable value of the asset is 2 lakh. So 4 lakh minus 2 lakh is 2 lakh. Okay. So the value of the asset as on 5th year beginning or 6th year beginning or 5th year end, you can say, not 5th year beginning. After 5 years means 5th year end or 6th year beginning is 2 lakh. Okay. So 4 lakh minus 2 lakh is 2 lakh, and you have sold it for 1,80,000. So you are having a loss of 20,000. Take it into reverse. Okay. For example, this was the first example. I am taking a second example. Okay. So see, if you take, this is the value of depreciation. Okay. So if you deduct the value of depreciation from the asset, you get the same value. Asset minus depreciation. The same value that you get, because the value is half. So obviously you get the half. So the value of depreciation over 5 years of use is 2 lakh, and the value of the asset at the 5th year end or 6th year beginning is 4 lakh minus 2 lakh. That is again 2 lakh. And now after 5 years of use, again I am telling 5 years of use means 5th year end or 6th year beginning. You are selling it for example, you are selling it for 2,30,000. So now can you tell it is having a profit? Because the asset after depreciation of 5 years of use is 2 lakh, and I am selling it after 5 years or at the 6th year for 2,30,000. So I am having a profit. How much profit I am having? I am having a profit of 30,000. I am having a profit of 30,000. Clear? So this is what the way the depreciation calculation works. So this is how we are going to calculate for the purpose of charging depreciation about the fixed asset. But this is the just hint that they have given, or the way this is the thing that you do in your final account chapter also while passing the journal entry. So this is quite familiar or acquaintance thing that you know. But the thing here is we will be solving these problems on depreciation using some methods. So this is the common thing that you know earlier, but now or in this chapter we will be solving the value of depreciation of the problems related to charging depreciation on fixed assets using some methods. Okay, so this was just the introduction of the depreciation chapter. Okay, we will move on to the next term soon. Okay, so this was the introduction of the depreciation chapter, and if you don't understand about it, you can ask me. See, very easier thing, you know the meaning of depreciation. Okay, you have read it in the first year and in second year also while solving the final accounts in the adjustment part, because there only you got to know depreciation, how it works. Meaning of depreciation, you knew it, and how it works depends in the adjustment part. How you did it? Depreciation being an expenses, indirect expenses taken to debit side of profit and loss account, and by nature of expenses charged to fixed asset, the second treatment was it is deducted from the value of the fixed asset. Okay, from the asset side of balance sheet. Okay, so the thing we are going to do here is you have to calculate that value of depreciation that was given in the adjustment part. Depreciate the value of machine by 5%, depreciate the value of furniture by 10%, depreciate the value of motorcycle by 20%. So this is what you made calculation there is to be done here. Okay, now here we will see how to fix the value of depreciation, how to determine the rate of depreciation, and if the rate of depreciation given, how it is to be charged, and what are the accounts to be prepared, what are the methods of solving problems on depreciation, how it is to be presented. So here in this chapter we will read only regarding depreciation. There are meaning, features, introduction and meaning, just I have told you. We will read about the features, causes, objectives, need, methods, differences between the other methods. Okay, so these are the terms we are going to discuss in this chapter, and for going for a short revision, if I tell you depreciation, you know what is depreciation? Reduction or decreasing the value of a fixed asset due to use or passage of time. So what are those two vital factors for which the term depreciation takes place? That is use and passage of time, that I will explain you also within an example. So use is your service or the benefit or the profit that you take, or the revenue or income that you earn, depending upon the personal use or professional use or business use. So the utility or the service or the benefit that you take can be called as the use. Okay, and the time factor is the duration of your use. So these are the two important factors for this depreciation, and it has been derived from a Latin word, that is depretium. And depretium, for your more understanding, I have split it into two ways, that is D and pretium. D means decline, pretium means price. So moreover, depretium means decline in price. What is the meaning of decline? I have written the synonymous words, that is decrease, reduction, diminish, and the pretium is price, cost, value of a commodity or product, whatever. Okay, so this is what the introduction of the depreciation. We will soon discuss the other things or the other topics of depreciation in our next class. If you have any doubt regarding this, I don't hope, because we haven't discussed anything that is difficult or complex in this chapter or in this video class. So I don't think you will be having any doubt, because these are the things that we have discussed earlier also. You can say this is just the revision or the introduction in more formal, if you say. So this was the introduction part of the depreciation, and in our next classes we will go for features and causes. Okay, so till then, if you have any doubt, please ask me, and I request you, please go through your books. I will send you the notes very soon after I upload this video. But before that, I request you, please refer your book. Watch my video class. If you don't understand, you can definitely ask me, either even by the text message or in the phone calls. But the thing is, first read or refer a book, and if you don't understand, again, please you can ask me. So this is all about today's class regarding the introduction of depreciation. Soon we will meet with a new class and new topic. Okay.